Good morning and welcome to our London Parents Forum, The Great Outdoors, Learning Outside the Classroom. As a brief introduction, my name is Harry Cobb. I am a director at Bonas McFarland, where we specialise in tutoring and mentoring students, as well as running an advisory firm to support families ensure that they find the right school or university for their child. Today, we will be exploring the educational opportunities of outdoor learning with our panel, Gordonstoun, Camp Bonas and Woodlands Liberty School. We will be looking at what opportunities there are for your child to experience the great outdoors and how they develop these wealth of skills which can be brought back into the classroom and applied to everyday life. On that note, I am delighted to welcome our panelist, Richard Deavy, head of the senior school at Gordonstoun. Richard joined Gordonstoun in '92 as a geography and PE teacher and has worked his way up through the school years, having been a housemaster, head of sixth form, and deputy head of pastoral. As a school, Gordonstoun is renowned for its broad curriculum, following the round square philosophy, which is a commitment to character education and experiential learning. The 6 themes include international understanding, democracy, environmental stewardship, adventure, leadership, and service. The Good Schools cited, Gordonstoun doesn't just have to try to be different, it just is. It's the original holistic education, using outdoor challenges and service to others to build confidence and improve academic performance. I'm also delighted to welcome Leanne Barrett, the head and founder of Liberty Woodlands School, alongside her deputy head, Steve Cottrell. Leanne started out by creating a nursery forest school in London called Little Forest Folk. But as demand outgrew supply, 1 quickly became 7. As Leanne's children grew older, she followed her dream to set up a primary school. Liberty Woodlands School opened in September 2019 and is excitingly preparing to move to their new permanent 3-acre site in Morden in September this year. Leanne has received numerous accolades, won many prizes, and been presented with an award from the Queen for innovation. Thank you, Richard, Leanne, and Steve for joining us. The format of the webinar will begin with a presentation from our panelists, highlighting what makes their school unique. In addition, I will add in a short presentation about Camp Bonas, our summer camp due to take place in July, and then we will open up for a Q&A. On that note, I would like you to add your questions through the Q&A box, and thank you to all of those who have already sent in their questions, and as we will do our best to work our way through these as well. So, with old meeting new, travelling from London to the Highlands, please allow me to hand you over to Steve Cottrell, who is in the grounds of Liberty Woodlands School.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Harry, and good morning, everyone. I'll just get the presentation loaded up here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today and to share with you what Liberty Woodlands School is about. I am Steve, the deputy head here. I'm also joined by Hayley, our Key Stage 2 teacher, and then Liana will be joining for the Q&A at the end. In these 10 minutes, it's really a chance, what's possible to achieve is to just share a snapshot with you of what Liberty Woodlands School is and why we exist. And for more information, there's a well-stocked website there available, and those details are also on the handout that's available. So we just selected for today 2 key elements of the school's approach that we'd like to share with you, all under this umbrella of the great outdoors as well. So as you'll see here, this is the new site which we're shortly moving to. And our school site covers 3 acres of gorgeous land to explore and really immerse our children in outdoor learning. You will see there that there is a Georgian house, and that's used for some of the back office team. We've also got an indoor teaching kitchen, and there's some versatile spaces just to really supplement all that we can offer and all that we achieve outdoors. You'll also see in the bottom right picture there, we've got our very own art studio that's actually in a converted stable block, which will retain all of its original features. But the heart of this wonderful new site is, of course, the outdoor spaces. Our outdoor space has been designed to cover 3 key areas that each allow a different focus to our approach to learning outdoors. Our production zone will be a real space for the cultivation of crops, which the children then use in recipes and really researching planting seasons and how to harvest and how to cook and prepare those foods. But as well as that, they will be heavily involved in the research and selection of some livestock for a small holding that we will have on the site. Really looking into animal stewardship, looking at the needs of different animals, what would be appropriate and safe and practical for us to have as a school, and to really take the lead in caring for those animals as well. Our pollination zone really focuses on developing a wide range of flowers and plants that will also then attract a wide range of wildlife into our school space. And this in turn provides deep, meaningful learning opportunities for the children as well. And then finally, we'll have our wilderness zone. And this area of the site really allows children to get out and explore, to build, to climb, to enjoy being physical outdoors in nature. We also have, as you can see from the photo here, access to our very own section of the River Wandle. And this will be we'll very carefully protect the space we have there, and we'll carefully use that river in many different aspects of our learning and wider opportunities. So why outdoors? It has its challenges, having just gone through the winter we all have, but also its amazing joys in developing resilience of our learners as well. And we can really answer this in three key ways. Firstly, learning in nature. Being outdoors, as you will all be aware, is proven to provide really high levels of well-being, and that deep, regular connection to nature really allows our school community to feel grounded and settled throughout the day. By removing the traditional walls and confines of a traditional classroom, our children rapidly develop their ability to self-regulate and get themselves into the right headspace for the different types of learning opportunities available. Also, learning about nature. The natural world really is the biggest asset and resource that we can have for teaching, for immersing ourselves, for demonstrating and connecting a variety of learning opportunities across a wide range of curricular skills. And by being outdoors, the learning our children engage truly is deep, meaningful, and very, very real. From measuring water flow to studying life cycles to engaging in philosophical debate about food choices, and that real deep understanding of where our food comes from and the impact on the environment. Which leads to our third real drive for this is learning for nature. Learning outside in this natural environment really engages the whole school community in developing that real ownership and passion for the world, and that committed drive that we all need to ensure that they're positive future custodians for the planet. Starting at a school community level, we've invested heavily in a ground source heat pump and water turbines in the river that demonstrate our own responsibilities towards sustainability. And we've got a digital dashboard being installed, which will also provide real-time information for the community about how much energy we are generating and how much we're using and ways in which we can continue to develop that. And then we'll use the learning from that into the environment around the school as well, the wider school community. And as well as that, it will lead to sharing ideas as to what being a sustainable school can and should be. And then the final point, just before I hand over to Hayley, is just to say within our day, Hayley's going to talk just a bit more about the project-based approach we take. And within that, we also have core focus sessions every day for English, for maths, and for environmentalism. We really see those as those three key areas that our children need to be learning to become successful in all of their learning endeavours and for the future. And then those skills that they learn are then applied through their project-based approach and through all the opportunities that our school brings. And on that note, I'm just going to hand you over to Hayley now, who's just going to give a bit more information about our project-based approach.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you, Steve, for that introduction. So, as you've heard, here at Liberty Woodland, we very much take a project-based approach, and we're very lucky that the environment provides such an innovative environment for us to take this further. The reason why we think that project-based learning is so important for the children of today is because it really allows for the 21st century skills to be developed. Creativity, planning, critical thinking, communication and collaboration all comes through this approach. And of course, we live in a project-based world, so it's really important that these children develop the skills that they can then take into their adult lives. Also, we feel that there's such an importance in really developing the attitude of being a lifelong learner. And of course, project-based learning lends itself to that. Very much the approach is student-centered, and as a result, you get excellent engagement from the children. We know that the extended period of time that a project lends itself to allows the children to have a deeper learning and a deeper experience and really make connections between lots of different aspects of the collaborative nature of project-based learning is so fundamental to our approach here at Liberty Woodland as well. Our roots are very much based in PSED, ensuring that the children can communicate with one another, show empathy, have patience, compromise, negotiate, and so on. So project-based learning is the way forward, we feel, for children's education. Now, what does that actually look like? We ensure that the projects have ideas that they target that are personal to the children. They have end that take the full challenge or answering a question, creating a product, or even holding a community event. There's always an authentic audience for the children to be working towards presenting to. And this also allows the children to set their expectations against a real purposeful end goal. We ensure that the children are actively engaged in also designing the project. This allows them to account for timing, for them to really shape the unit and the flow of learning, and also to have input into what they want to find out. Our curriculum, which is focused around the key areas of competence, is really robust, and it allows us to plan for every individual child to ensure that they make progression from their particular stage, and also to allow for challenge where possible, and to allow the children to flourish and not be penned into an age-related expectation. Everything is cross-curricular because, of course, we live in a world where everything is connected, and therefore it's really important for the children to make those connections throughout their learning as well. Scaffolding throughout the project from us teachers means that we take a step back and we really promote independence within the learner. The children guide their learning, they make suggestions. We're just there as facilitators towards the end of the project, asking meaningful questions, prompting where needed to ensure that the children are really driven to drive their own learning. Of course, there's reflection throughout, which is an important life skill to have. There's constant evaluation so that children develop, always improve and achieve more and build skills. And celebration as well allows for the children to see that they have real impact and that their hard work is valued in the community. So just a few examples of what this project-based learning has looked like for us across the year that we're currently in. One of the key stage 2 projects that we looked at was around the big idea of me and my place in the world. And the children here were thinking about the community that they belong to. They decided that they wanted to create their identity as a school in the form of a school song. And so this guided the project through English and music-based skills in which they developed a school song, they researched, they compared to other schools, they really took input from experts around them. And the end result was a fantastic Liberty Woodland school song that they could then share with the community, share with their other classes, and also will be performed at our end of year exhibition. We are currently in our summer term projects, and we are looking at in key stage 1 how we can stay happy and healthy in the modern age. This has combined historical skills. This is also looked at PSED, where the children will be forming a guidebook and sharing that with the school community about how to stay happy and healthy for the links between happening in the real world and of course give real value to their learning. That's everything from me at the moment. Of course, as Steve mentioned, there's lots more information on our Liberty Woodland school site, and there's lots more breakdown there as well of the children's projects. Thank you.
That's terrific. Thank you very much, both of you, for that clear presentation. I think what particularly struck me was how you've managed to secure such an amazing site in London. The children are very fortunate, and I'm sure you're extremely excited to be turning up there, ready for September.
Yes, they are indeed.
Yeah, so moving, I guess, from kind of some form of urban living up to the Highlands, I'd like to introduce Richard, who is in a slightly contrasting space in what looks like a fire station. So I will let him do the explaining and leave it in his capable hands.
Thank you, Harry. Very nice to be speaking to everybody, and lovely to hear about Liberty Woodlands School. What an exciting project, and good luck to them. Unfortunately, we don't have the sunshine today. We have rain in the northeast of Scotland. So I've come indoors and I've come into this very special building that I'll talk to you a little more about in a few minutes. My name's Richard Devey. I'm the head of senior school, and as Harry said, I've been here nearly 30 years, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to explain a little bit about how we use the outdoor environment to help our young people learn and develop as people. So through the wonders of technology, my faithful assistant will share a screen with you now on our presentation. I hope, if you just give me a second. Right, so this is Gordonstoun's campus, and as I've used the title there, we really feel that using the outdoors is a way to build self-esteem, and I think that's particularly important in a post-COVID world. We're all hoping we'll soon be post-COVID, and I think a lot of young people are feeling slightly fragile and slightly uncertain about the future, and using the outdoors can really help them, we feel, develop that resilience and self-confidence and self-esteem to restate their position within the adult world. Now, Gordonstoun was founded by this gentleman, Dr. Kurt Hahn, who was a brilliant educationist. It was founded in 1934, and Dr. Hahn knew very well, he was in many ways well ahead of his time, he knew very well that learning outdoors gave students another aspect to their education that simply sitting in chemistry or history couldn't provide. He felt it was a great leveler and a great equalizer. And this quote here, the Moray Firth is the stretch of water just adjacent to the school where we do a lot of our sailing. This quote tells you a lot about Dr. Hahn and how he felt learning through the outdoors was really important in developing young people. His education was imparted on this gentleman who the world very sadly lost just recently, the Duke of Edinburgh, who was our 10th pupil. And as a result of the Duke of Edinburgh's education here and the influence of Dr. Hahn, the Duke of Edinburgh's award was established. Now, many millions of students across the world have benefited basically from a Gordonstoun education. And it's a great opportunity. I'm sure many of you as parents, whichever school your children are at, are aspiring to put your children through the Duke of Edinburgh's award. And it's based on the Gordonstoun education that the Duke had when he was here. Our education is based around some fundamental elements that every student must do, and that's important. We don't have a voluntary curriculum. Every student is expected to do these. This is our yacht, Ocean Spirit of Moray. It's an 80-foot ketch, and it sails. It spends most of its life sailing through the Western Isles of Scotland, based near Kyle of Loch Alsh. Incredibly beautiful. And they have a lot of fun on board, and I think that's important in education. It's very easy for education to be overly pressurized and overly focused on exam results, but they are young people. They have to grow up after all. They have a lot of fun on board, but also they learn really, really important lessons about how to deal with challenge. A 4-7 off the west coast of Scotland is a challenging environment, about how to take responsibility for their actions and as a crew, and how to show leadership, as we see here, this girl at the helm. And by the end of their voyage on Ocean Spirit, the students are the crew and the staff are stepping back and letting them sail and navigate and manage all elements of that journey. And that's an incredibly valuable educational tool. We're also right on the doorsteps of the Scottish Highlands, so we use that a great deal. In fact, we're only 2 weeks into term. We've already had 2 year groups out, more students going out this weekend. And in many ways, the solitude is a great contrast to their home environment. Many of them come from cities across the world and they're used to the hustle and bustle of life there. But this solitude, this tranquility is wonderful for them. It gives them time to be who they are, to discover who they are, to get a connectedness with nature and with each other that's really important. And connecting with the simple things as well. I think often today, young people grow up very quickly, and it's about whether they've got the latest iPhone or the correct trainers or things like that. Out here, none of that matters. What matters is, are you self-reliant? Are you a capable individual? Can you work as part of a team to navigate your way through this environment and achieve success? We start very young, so this is our junior school students on our campus learning how to make a shelter that will keep them dry, and that's part of their core curriculum. Den building, shelter building in the Woodlands. You can see here really young children having a lot of fun. So it's almost not like learning, but it's developing within them the love of adventure, of taking initiative, of solving problems. And as a really wonderful way to be educated. As they get older, then we develop that into our service program. Gordonstoun is very famous for its services, as has followed through into the Duke of Edinburgh's award. And here are some Coast Guards planning a night exercise that they will be doing, again in the outdoors and learning and putting their skills into practice in the outdoor environment. And our fire service, who are the only fire service, to my knowledge, in Europe, the only school fire service in Europe, here doing some training down at the lake and using their skills outdoors to the benefit of others. And I think that's very, very important. We don't only have these kind of figurehead ways of using the outdoors. We do it just very simply as well. We bought a lot of old military parachutes recently, and we've put those up in the woods and created these little areas where classes can meet. So this is a junior school reading group, just enjoying that connectedness that we've already heard about from Liberty Woodland. That connectedness with the outdoors creates a really new and different environment that stimulates the senses. Here's a senior school music class under a different parachute. And again, being outdoors is really, really helpful for them. And as you would expect, geography field trips to the coast, this is less than 1 kilometre from the building I'm in now, learning by actually being there in the environment that you're talking about is incredibly important. So what does it create? It creates young people, we feel, who are really strong, they are resilient, they know their strengths and weaknesses, they're not afraid of challenge and showing leadership. And to discuss that a little further, I thought I'd just have a few minutes with one of our current students. So I'm just going to ask to step into the shot here. This is Timothy, who's in our year 11. As you can see, he's a firefighter. So I just thought it would be useful for you to hear from Timothy a little bit. And I'm just going to explore with you, Timothy. Just tell me, first of all, about your pre-Gordonstoun educational background.
So before I came to Gordonstoun, I was at Horace Hill Prep School in Hampshire. It has a beautiful 87-acre campus. So coming up here and having an over 200-acre campus, which is even more beautiful, has been amazing, as I spend so much of my free time outside, whether it's playing sports or doing training for the fire service and many of the other things, as Sir said, our lessons outside. So yeah, no, it's the campus has been beautiful and it's been very nice, yeah.
And how do you think the outdoor learning that we do, Tim, has changed you in the years you've been here?
In the 3 years I've been here, I've been on about 5 expeditions to the Cairngorms, one of which was in snow to learn how to snow survival and along the lines of that. And then I've had a week of sail training, and then later this term I have a week on the school yacht, which you've seen earlier. And I think it's really helped me. It's helped me learn better leadership skills, and then my basic skills such as map reading and teamwork, stuff like that, has really helped me improve it, which will definitely be helpful in later life.
Great. And what element of our education do you think has had the biggest impact on you personally?
I think personally, as a very keen sportsman, the sports and outdoor has definitely had the biggest impact on me, as it's given me so many opportunities to play cricket, whether that's on the North Lawn, we've got a game on Thursday, or if it's like playing cricket or playing rugby and hockey, all the different activities that the school provides has been amazing.
And Tim, you should know, has just been awarded our sixth form scholarship. So congratulations to you, Tim. And plans for the sixth form, what subjects are you planning on studying and where do you hope it's heading in the future?
For sixth form, I'm planning on studying business studies, sports, sociology, and then I'm going to hope after that, I'm going to hopefully go to university and then join the Army or Marines as an officer.
Okay, so a career in the forces beckons. Great, thank you very much, Tim. Thanks for your time. I'll hand back now to Harry. I hope that's given you a good flavour of Gordonstoun and how we use the outdoors to develop our young people.
That's great. Thank you so much, Richard. Again, I'm very much struck by the beauty of your school and the wonderful acreage that you have to do all sorts of amazing activities, and obviously great to hear from a current student. So thank you very much. I guess that kind of hopefully leads us on nicely to our kind of summer offering, essentially to kind of hopefully bridge the gap for those parents that might live in London or are unable to travel up to Scotland and educate their children up in Gordonstoun. And so we have designed a week away in order to help children enjoy their summer. Ultimately, at its core, it is a week of adventure for children to learn and play outdoors, away from technology and their screens, to be allowed to think creatively and develop their confidence for experiencing new challenges, be that performance-based, singing, or climbing up high ropes. Why Camp Bonus over others? Well, I guess given the extraordinary events over the past 18 months, we think it is now more important than ever for children to spend time away from their computers and their phones. Our camp will be completely screen-free and allow children to enjoy learning amongst their peer group, collaborating together, surrounded by nature. The camp will also be an opportunity to take children out of their comfort zone, take on leadership responsibilities, while enjoying being away from the city, sitting around the campfire in the evenings. We also think it's a wonderful opportunity for those parents considering sending their child to a boarding school to give them that vital preparation, and equally for those students preparing for interview, namely at the 11+ stage, to show examples of leadership and to build those resilient skills that are ever more important. Where is the camp located? Well, we're extremely fortunate to be near the Quantock Hills, which was declared in 1953 as the first area of outstanding natural beauty in the UK. The farm is owned by Colonel Michael Kingscott, and they alone have 25 years of experience organising outward bound activities. We're also incredibly lucky with the accommodation. In 2019, they built an array of cabins, so children will have their own bunk beds and have easy access to toilets and hot showers. The camp will be run by 5 mentors, all of which have been chosen for their enthusiasm for the outdoors and their teaching experience. And I'm also pleased to confirm that Bertie Graham will be leading the camp, who is currently a Year 5 teacher at King's College, Wimbledon. What the camp has to offer has been inspired by our favourite children's books and designed so children will participate in a mix of outward bound adventures, creative workshops, and physical activities. As an overview, I've attached a kind of a brief schedule of how the course will be structured. Ultimately, we hope to find a balance of challenging students to enjoy new experiences, improve their writing skills, and have fun making new friends. If you'd like further information, by all means do contact me. Ultimately, it's designed for children kind of aged 8 to 13, so years 4 to year 8. As I said, it will be taking place in the second week of July, from Monday the 12th to Friday the 16th. And for further information, there is a web link for you, which you can go on and see our kit list and reading lists attached to it. So if any of you watching would like to add any questions into the Q&A, by all means, please do so. Many of you have actually sent in some questions, so perhaps we will start with those. And as I said, please don't be shy and feel free to use the Q&A question. So my first question perhaps is best directed to Richard. In particular, it asks, my child is a very urban, my child is at a very urban London prep. Are there good pathways towards the full residential experience of a school like Gordonstoun?
Yeah, and I think it can be seen as quite a big leap from the urban life to a very rural school like ours. I would recommend, if possible, joining in summer camps, as we've just heard described there. I think they can really give children a taste of that outdoor life. And when they're old enough, participating in the Duke of Edinburgh Award, it's obviously available at many schools. And again, we'll give them that taste for adventure, so that if and when they do come to a school like ours, they're really ready to embrace it. We do get a number who join us fresh from a life in the city, and it is something of a culture shock, but we take time. We're very experienced at helping them settle in and get used to that, and our ability to impel them to make sure they do it. Sometimes we get resistance, but once they've overcome that, it's amazing how many it becomes one of their favorite elements of life at school, spending time in the outdoors.
And then a question for Liberty Woodland. So someone was asking exactly, do you follow the national curriculum? And in addition, how do you assess progress and report back against the national standards?
Yeah, absolutely. We use the national curriculum as a reference document, and what we've developed is our key areas of competency as progression ladders in all sort of the traditional subjects. Progression in maths it remains the same, and we've developed this progression map using the national curriculum and using other curricula alongside that from some top international schools as well. And that really enables us to see where each child is at and use the natural steps of progression to inform their next steps and to support them on that journey. We don't do formal testing. We use observation. We set up opportunities for children to really apply those skills in a number of different ways. And also we observe their play, because through play, if a child is demonstrating a particular skill, then that really is demonstrating mastery of that. And we believe that very formal examinations enable some children to show in a very narrow way, and that's not the approach that we take.
Thank you. Very good, understood. And then I guess a question for both panelists. How do panelists manage screen time? E.g., do children use phones outdoors?
Can I start on that one?
Yes.
We have a very clear policy that during the teaching day, they're not allowed to have their devices. So from breakfast through to the end of lessons. Obviously, all children are growing up in a world that is a digital world, so they do have to be comfortable, and they are very comfortable using their devices. But we feel there's a time for them to be used and a time not. So not during the teaching day, not after lights out, they're handed in, but at other times of the day when it's outside prep, etc., yes, they can use them.
Yes, and here we have a similar policy. Children don't bring devices into school, but they do use technology through our project, so they are becoming quite confident and have strong ability in using technology. We use the iPads, we use laptops, we use a variety of technology whilst the children are engaging in their projects, but we don't find any challenges with the children stopping using that technology, because there's so much more that's enticing in the outdoor environment. They use the iPad for whatever purpose they require, then they put it back down and they carry on with their outdoor play.
Very good. And I guess maybe that leads on, I guess, due to lockdown, has lockdown led the panel to have any ideas about how parents can support outdoor learning in the home?
I guess so when we started our online learning, our priority was to maintain a really strong sense of connection to the community and to really focus on the children's well-being and their mental health. And we focused on that, and we put together a series of, during the day, we would have a variety of live sessions where the children would have opportunities to participate in group sessions. We had collaborative facilitated play online in addition to our usual subjects and projects. And then actually we spoke to the parents quite frequently to find out what was working for them and what they were finding challenging. And one of the things they were finding challenging was getting their children out to play. So we then amended our timetable. We gave a big 2-hour lunchtime break from our online learning, and every morning the class teacher would provide a nature challenge for the parents, and they would give this to the children with the parents obviously listening in, and then this then allowed the parents to have a hook to take their children outdoors and spend a couple of hours every day outdoors trying to meet the challenge that we'd set the children.
That's really interesting to hear, because we did exactly the same, would you believe? Yeah. We gave a 2-hour block, not only for the students, but for the mums and dads and for the staff as well. It was a wintertime lockdown. There wasn't much daylight after lessons. So we structured our timetable to give 2 hours in the middle of the day for everybody to leave the screens and go out and be active and outdoors. And I think we've heard so much in the media and internationally about the negative sides of lockdown. But one thing that I've seen, and one thing that the children, now they're back at school, are telling us, is that they've actually, as families, spent a lot of time together, mountain biking, walking, dog walks, wild swimming, doing all kinds of interesting things. And I think actually, in some ways, we've rediscovered the strength of the family unit. There's been a lot of meals together, and there's been a lot of time spent together. So whilst it's easy to dwell on the negative, and there obviously have been negatives to this pandemic, but there have been one or two positives as well. And I'm really pleased to hear we had the same solution in terms of lunchtimes.
Good to know our panelists are in agreement. So we've actually had one in the Q&A. I think they're referring to generally outdoor learning, but they ask, how do you think this can benefit children who are shy and currently in secondary schools, so years 9/10?
Shall I kick off there?
Yes.
I think it's absolutely perfect for those kind of children. I think the very confident ones naturally usually take to it anyway, and perhaps don't gain as much. The shy ones, they often find, and it's really interesting, I have a very sort of vivid memory of a boy in my boarding house who was exactly as described, and who really didn't have any area of his school life that he was particularly strong at, until he went on board the yacht that you saw. And at sea, he came into his own. And all the other boys around him who felt, really, he doesn't really have any strength, suddenly saw that when the wind got up and conditions became challenging, this quiet, shy individual could cope with it really well. And his self-esteem and the respect in which he was held by his peers just went through the roof. And it was incredibly good for him. So it provides opportunities that aren't traditionally there in the classroom for people to find things in them that they didn't know they had.
Amazing. Leanne, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I completely agree with that. We find that often it's the children who maybe don't excel in the classroom, or maybe children who are a bit shyer, who have different social skills, who when they're out in the natural environment, it's a non-threatening environment, it's an incredibly peaceful environment, it's an environment that you can demonstrate so many more skills that wouldn't be apparent in a traditional classroom, and you can rise to a challenge. And it is often shy children or children who don't excel in a classroom who can really thrive outdoors, because it offers them opportunities to shine that you don't get within the confines of four walls.
Very good. I guess that leads us on. Someone Are there some children that are not suited to outdoor learning?
I don't think we haven't had one yet. We've had some parents who it can be a challenge to send to receive their children home covered in mud, and you know the amount of washing and the amount of cleaning you have to do when you have a child who is outdoors all the time. We've not had a child who it doesn't work for yet.
Very good. Richard, would you concur?
I would say that there are some children who at the time say didn't enjoy that, didn't get much out of it, etc. When you speak to them as adults, which I've had the benefit of doing over many years now, they invariably refer back to those times when they were outdoors doing maybe challenging things as the time when they grew up the most and learnt the most about themselves. So whilst they might articulate at the time they didn't see the benefit or what was the point in that, unfortunately we have very few of those, but occasionally it happens. What you do find later in life is the pennies dropped and they understand why they did it and what they got from it.
And I think often your most vivid memories from childhood are those moments when you're outdoors. They are those, even the most challenging times, they're your most vivid memories. They're what carry through with you to adulthood.
Absolutely, I would agree from my own educational experiences. Those trips away from school are the ones that ultimately kind of implanted into the kind of happy memory bank. One perhaps final question is, what do the panel think of other well-established outdoor organisations such as Scouts, Guides, Duke of Edinburgh Award and CCF?
I think any outdoor organisation that can help children, help parents find a way to get children outdoors, we're in support of.
And I would support that, absolutely. They're all great organisations, and if you can get your child along to any of them, do it, I would say, particularly if you're living in an urban environment. Give them that adventure and that taste of responsibility and leadership, and it will be of huge benefit to them.
Terrific. Well, I think that leaves us on a good note. I'm very grateful for both of you for taking up the time and to hear, as I said, about slightly contrasting schools, both in age and location. But ultimately, it's great to hear how passionate you are about outdoor learning and how ultimately that can change children's lives and hopefully, obviously, educate them for their future. So that really just leaves me to say that all the information from today's talk will be live on schoolshow.co.uk this afternoon. And next in the series is Senior Boarding in Action on Tuesday, the 4th of May at 7 to 8 p.m, an evening slot this time. It is our first family forum aimed at children as well as parents. In the hour, we will go behind the scenes to visit 6 senior schools in the evening and see what modern boarding is really like. We will meet heads and house parents, see the houses in action, and gain exclusive insight from current pupils. There will be plenty of opportunities for Q&A so that you and your children can get answers to all vital questions about boarding. So on that note, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day and hopefully see you next time.